Welcome to Light Her Up, your go-to podcast for exploring what it means to align with your passions and create a life filled with freedom, ease, and fulfillment. I'm your host, Natalie Bernacchi, a mom, entrepreneur, and certified coach who left a 15-year corporate career to build a life aligned with my passions and help other women do the same. We'll be diving deep into topics like self-discovery, mindset shifts, and the courage to pursue the life you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here and for prioritizing yourself. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If you're ready to find your joy, reclaim your identity, and upgrade your life, you're in the right place. Now let's light it up. Hello, my loves. So recently, I've been hearing a lot from the women in my world, whether it be my one-on-one clients, our mastermind clients, or even my peers and friends who have been taking the leap to go all in on their business. And they're finding that the learning curve of entrepreneurship has been way more challenging than they thought it would be. And I have to agree because honestly, it was for me too. So if you're in the early stages of building a business or even just thinking about making that leap, you might be dreaming of the freedom and flexibility that entrepreneurship promises. And yes, there is freedom. But what a lot of people don't talk about is the massive mindset shift and the unexpected challenges that come with stepping out of a structured corporate job and into full-time entrepreneurship. So this episode is for you if you've ever felt like, why is this so much harder than I expected? I thought I'd feel free, but I kind of feel lost. And how do I stay focused when I have all the time in the world? Trust me, you're not alone. And today I'm sharing my story about what's worked for me and what I've heard work for others, and 3 key tips that have helped me find my footing and my flow. Are you holding back from starting your business or from fully living your dream life? Your business is a huge part of your life. We spend so much of our time and energy there. So why would you pour all of that effort into something that doesn't light you up? What's really holding you back from going all in? I can tell you, my friend Emily and I have been there. We had these big visions, these big burning visions for our lives. But for a while, we were both hiding. We were hiding behind other roles, other identities that we'd taken on, hiding behind fear. And it wasn't until we found true support from each other and from building community that everything shifted. We inspired each other. We held each other accountable. And we finally started taking the scary action that brought our visions to life. And the best part in doing that is that we were able to help other women too. And that's exactly why we created our masterminds. And we are so excited to finally be bringing it online. This is a space where your biggest, boldest dreams are welcomed. There is more than enough room at the table because this table was made for you. It's a community that sees you as the ambitious, intuitive, and wildly capable woman that you are. So get on the wait list. The link is in the show notes, and you'll be the first to know when the doors open. And trust me, you do not want to miss this. Okay, now diving back into the episode. Let me take you back a bit. I had worked in a somewhat traditional corporate career for the last, over 15 years now, and I was the go-to for everything organization. Whenever anything had to be organized, whether it was a new process, change management, literally organizing a physical space like a desk, productivity hacks, or efficiency tips, I was always the person that my coworkers, my friends, and even people outside of my direct team would ask me. People would even come to my house and they'd be like, "Oh, your pantry's so organized. How is everything in your house so organized? I bet you don't even have a junk drawer." Like, these were the questions that I would get. And people outside of my direct team at work, they would ask me questions like, how do you stay so productive? Can you show me how to organize your day? At work, people from other departments would literally book time with me just to walk through my systems. I'll never forget getting calendar invites from people in the organization to talk about how I organize my day. And they'd ask me questions like, do I do time blocking? What systems do I use? And so on. And the secret was that I thrived in structure. I thrived in routine. And honestly, I had to. I worked in a super high stress, really fast paced startup environment where things were constantly changing. It was almost like if things weren't changing, I felt like something was wrong. I was juggling a growing company, my own team. A lot of times I had managed multiple teams at the same time, motherhood, and just life. I scaled one company from 12, I was the 12th employee, all the way up to 250. And the other company, we were around 5 to 10 at any given time. So I was wearing 1,000 hats all day, every single day. So I needed that structure to survive. And truthfully, I was really good at it. So when I left corporate and I stepped into entrepreneurship, I was so excited. I was thinking, no more 4:30 a.m. wake ups. No more having to get on meetings that I didn't want to be on or calls that I didn't want to take. I could schedule things the way that I wanted to, when I wanted to. I had dreamed of the flexibility and the freedom to design my days however I wanted. And when that happened, I felt like I got hit by a ton of bricks. I was not prepared for how much of a transition that would be. I thought I'd be thriving in all this open space with all this free time, and instead it was the complete opposite. I found myself floundering. I felt like I was drowning. I went from having every minute accounted for to having all the time in the world, and yet I felt chaos. I felt overwhelmed, and I felt lost. I'm 5 months into full entrepreneurship now, and I'm finally starting to find my groove. So when I tell you it takes a while, it takes a while. And here's what I've realized. Human beings thrive on structure. I don't care what anyone says. Even if you crave spontaneity like I do, yes, I'm an Aries, so I do love to be spontaneous and I do have a very spicy side to me. Having a baseline of structure helps you feel grounded and in control. So I was so excited to wake up whenever I wanted, work out at like 1 p.m. if I felt like it, and finally have the flexibility I'd always wanted. But without the framework, I felt like I was spinning in circles. I realized that my nervous system and honestly, my whole well being depends on certain non negotiables like waking up early for quiet time alone. I cherish that cup of coffee. I've talked about it on other podcast episodes. Having that time alone for me in the morning, having that cup of coffee that I just thoroughly enjoy, I need that time to like ease into my day. I like starting my day off slowly and intentionally, meditating, doing something grounding, doing my gratitude journal. And I love moving my body. In the past, before kids, it was for aesthetics. I will say, like, working out really was like, oh, I want to have a really good body. And now, when I don't work out, the impacts on my mental health that it has is significant. So I need to move my body to get that energy through me for that mental clarity. And once I reestablished those pieces of structure in the morning, I noticed a huge shift in how I was able to show up in my business. So, here's something funny, and I know some of you will relate. When I first started working from home full time, suddenly the laundry became urgent. I'd spend hours cleaning, organizing, going through each and every room, purging each and every room. And by the end of the day, I'd think, wait, did I actually get any work, any work done for my business today at all? I've also heard this recently from some of the moms in our mastermind. So I know I'm definitely not the only one out there. One of the moms was saying how she found herself constantly cleaning the kitchen and how she could do it for hours on end. And she would do everything but actually sit down and work. And I think about it in my corporate job, I never had time to overhaul and purge every single room in the house and deep clean the kitchen in the middle of the day. But suddenly, this became my go to form of what I like to call productive procrastination. I realized I had to set some serious boundaries for myself. Even though I love working from home, I found that being in my house all day kept pulling me back into house projects instead of business building. And it's so interesting because I worked from home since 2020. So for over 4 years, actually more than that, like over 5 years, working for a corporate company, working for someone other than myself from home. And that was never a distraction for me. I never had the urge to do this urgent deep cleaning of my kitchen or having to get all the laundry done in the middle of the day during my work hours. It was just when I switched to working for myself and the deadlines and the things that were due were for me. That's when I started to see that productive procrastination. So, what worked for me was that I had to physically remove myself from my environment. I started working from coffee shops, from parks, from co working spaces. I meet up with my business partner, Emily, and we work outside. We get some sun, some fresh air, and we get connection. And we're actually making progress on our business. I've also joined an amazing co working space in Orange County. Shout out to Like Minded OC in Ball Claudio. She's amazing, and the community that she's built amazing. And she created this incredible space called the Clubhouse. So if you're in Newport Beach, anywhere in the OC, and you're a female founder, I highly encourage checking it out. I'm telling you, the days that I was able to work in that co working space in the Clubhouse, being surrounded by other women in business, even though we have all very different businesses, it gave me so much inspiration and motivation. And they were some of my most productive work days. So if you find yourself falling in that same trap, get out of the house. Go somewhere where you can't fold laundry or deep clean your kitchen in between emails. So I do have 3 tips that I want to leave you with today about how to navigate the learning curve a little bit easier than I did. So one is build a really good morning routine. Whether you're a morning person or not, some kind of ritual that grounds you is needed. So for me, again, that's my quiet time with my coffee in the morning, doing a quick meditation, writing down my 3 things that I'm grateful for, my gratitude practice, and journaling. I've heard some women say that they like to read. I've heard some women say that they like to just be, and also movement. So for me, having movement in that morning time is a non-negotiable for my mental health. So having that structured starts making everything else feel smoother. And even if the rest of the day goes sideways, I've done the essentials. So it grounds me, it keeps me rooted. I know that I've already got that done. So it's all good. Tip 2, set clear work and home boundaries. Working from home and for yourself can be amazing. And it is amazing. I wouldn't take it back for anything in the world. And it can also be a black hole of distraction. My biggest game changer was deciding when I'm working, I'm working. No laundry, no house projects. And I ruthlessly prioritize now. I time block and I stick to it. I put the calendar invite in my calendar as if it was a meeting with someone else. No one can book time there on my calendar. My husband sees my calendar. He can't book something with me because I wouldn't not show up to a meeting where I was supposed to meet someone else. So I need to hold that same boundary, that same accountability for myself. Why wouldn't I hold that same space for myself? And if I find myself stuck, I leave the house. It can be anything from coffee shops, libraries, parks, co-working space, whatever gets you into that focused environment. Get some noise canceling headphones, put those on, get in your own world, like when you're out of the house. I live by the beach, so sometimes I'll actually take my little beach chair, a mini table, a beach umbrella, and head to the sand. And I get the ocean waves, the salty fresh air, and it makes me feel so good. And tip number 3, find or build a support system. I'm telling you, this is crucial. Starting your own business, especially for the first time, can feel really lonely. That is why community is everything. And I actually started to recognize this as I was building my own business. There's just so many questions that come up. And again, you're like building this business in a silo by yourself. So it can feel really, really lonely. Emily and I created our mastermind with this in mind out of necessity because all great ideas are built out of necessity. We were both going all in on our businesses and we wanted the support of other women. So she asked me a hypothetical question one day and it went something like, well, I would love to get some women to meet once a month to help each other support and hold each other accountable as we launch our own businesses. And she was like, I don't know if anyone would join. And I was like, I would join. That's amazing. And then she asked me if I would co host. So we talked about it and we thought maybe we might get like 8 women max to join. And no joke, within weeks, we had 32 amazing women in 2 full cohorts. We had so much interest. There was clearly such a gap in the community and such a need for this that we oversold 2 cohorts. Incredible. And seeing these women go from just having ideas, we started one of the cohorts in January, and some of the women just came with ideas. They were like, I have this idea and I want to maybe start it as a business, like kind of like dip my toe in. Now they have full-fledged businesses. Some are making real revenue in just a few months. It's been so inspiring. And the accountability and support has been absolutely priceless for both the women in the groups and for us. So find your community, find your people. And if you don't have a local mastermind or a group, there's always space at the table for you on our mastermind. The waitlist for our mastermind, the online mastermind, is open now, and the link is in the show notes for you. So the biggest thing that I want you to take away from today, entrepreneurship is a massive growth journey. It's not just about building a business, it's about building you, and you need the foundation set for you. There's no manual for this. You're doing something you've never done before, and it's going to stretch you in all the best ways. And we will definitely dive into that in many more podcasts to come. But be gentle with yourself, celebrate the wins, especially the small ones, and remember, you don't have to do it alone. And don't forget, if you're craving a supportive community of women who get it, the mastermind waitlist is live now. Link is in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you in there. And I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Light Her Up. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to take steps towards a life better than you ever dreamed. I see you, I hear you, and I'm so proud of you for showing up and prioritizing your journey. When you fill up your cup with love, you can pour so much more into the people and passions that matter to you most. If this episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, and shared it with someone who could use a little extra light. For more, check out our weekly 5-minute meditations or connect with me on Instagram at The Light Within Collective. I'm sending you my love, and I'll catch you on the next episode.